गणाधीश जो ईश सर्वांगुणांचा, मूळारंभ आरंभ तो निर्गुणाचा. नमो शारदा मूळ चत्वारवाचा, गमो पंथ आनंद या राघवाचा. This opening verse is a sacred invocation that prepares the mind for divine wisdom and spiritual clarity. The poet begins by bowing to Lord Ganesha, the remover of obstacles and the source of all virtues. Though Ganesha is worshipped in form, he is also described here as Nirguna, beyond qualities, reminding us that the divine exists both with and without attributes. Next, the verse salutes Goddess Saraswati, the origin of knowledge, speech, and the four forms of expression: thought, word, meaning, and sound. By invoking her, the poet seeks purity of speech and clarity of expression before beginning the spiritual journey. Finally, the verse points towards Raghava, Lord Rama, as the infinite path itself. This suggests that the journey towards truth, devotion, and liberation ultimately leads to the divine ideal of righteousness, compassion, and balance. The core message is, before beginning any spiritual, intellectual, or creative endeavor, one must first remove inner obstacles, purify speech and intention, and surrender to the higher ideal. Only then does the path become clear, peaceful, and purposeful. मना सज्जना भक्ति पंथेची जावे, तरी श्री हरी पाविजे तो स्वभावे. जनी निंद्यते सर्व सोडून द्यावे, जनीन वंद्यते सर्व भावे करावे. This shloka offers a clear spiritual roadmap for inner transformation through bhakti. It teaches that when the mind walks on the path of devotion alongside the virtuous, the seeker naturally attains Sri Hari, not through force or ambition, but through svabhava, one's transformed inner nature. The verse emphasizes that true spiritual progress begins in the mind. When thoughts align with devotion, humility, and goodness, divine grace becomes effortless. There is no need to chase God externally. Inner alignment itself attracts the divine. A powerful ethical message follows. Abandon criticism and condemnation of others. Practice compassion and forgiveness towards all. Respect the worthy and noble, not selectively but with full sincerity. The shloka highlights a key spiritual principle. How we treat others reflects our closeness to the divine. Letting go of judgment purifies the heart, while honoring virtue strengthens devotion. The key insight is, devotion is not only prayer or ritual, it is a way of living. When the mind chooses devotion, speech chooses kindness, and actions chooses reverence. Divinity manifests naturally in life. प्रभाते मनी राम चिंतित जावा, पुढे वैखरी राम आधी वदावा. सदाचार हा थोर सांडून नयेतो, जनीन तोचितो मानवी धन्य होतो. This shloka teaches a simple but powerful formula for a meaningful and blessed life. Begin with the right thought, speak the right words, and live with right conduct. The verse advises that one should remember Lord Rama first thing in the morning, within the mind itself. This highlights the importance of mental discipline. The mind sets the tone for the entire day. When the day begins with elevated thought, clarity and calm naturally follow. Next, it says that Rama's name should then be spoken aloud. Thought turning into speech represents alignment between inner intention and outer expression. When noble thoughts flow into words, they purify communication and influence actions positively. The shloka then stresses Sadachara, righteous conduct. Devotion is not limited to prayer or chanting. It must be expressed through ethical living, honesty, compassion, and restraint. Without good conduct, spirituality remains incomplete. The final line delivers the result. Such a person alone is truly dhanya or blessed in human life. Wealth, status, or fame do not define success. Character does. A human life becomes meaningful only when thoughts, words, and actions are in harmony. मनावासना दुष्ट कामानयेरे मना सर्वथा पापबुद्धि न कोरे मना धर्मता नीति सोडुन्नको हो मनान्तरीन सारविचार राहो. This powerful shloka offers practical guidance for mastering the mind, which is the foundation of inner peace and ethical living. It begins by warning against allowing impure desires and destructive cravings to enter the mind. In spiritual psychology, desires are not sinful by nature, but when they become distorted, they pull the mind towards restlessness, guilt, and loss of clarity. This verse strongly advises rejecting papa buddhi or sinful thinking. This does not merely refer to immoral actions, but to the intention behind thoughts. A pure mind creates pure actions, while a corrupted mindset leads to suffering even before action occurs. The shloka reminds us that discipline begins at the thought level. Next, it emphasizes never abandoning niti, meaning righteousness, ethics, and moral order. In moments of temptation or emotional pressure, the mind often tries to justify shortcuts. This verse acts as a moral anchor, reminding us that long term peace always comes from integrity, not convenience. Finally, the shloka concludes with a positive instruction: keep sara vichara, meaningful, wise, and reflective thoughts alive within. This is not suppression but conscious cultivation. When the mind is trained to dwell on higher values, harmful desires naturally lose their power. The key insight is control of the mind is not achieved by force but by choosing purity, ethics, and clarity every day. A mind filled with noble thoughts becomes calm, strong, and spiritually aligned, leading to a life of balance and inner freedom. मना पाप संकल्प सोडून द्यावा मना सत्य संकल्प जीवी धरावा मना कल्पना ते नको विषयांची विकारे घडे होजनी सर्वचीची. This shloka offers a powerful and practical guide for mental discipline and inner purity. It directly addresses the root of human suffering, impure thoughts, and unchecked imagination. The first line urges the mind to abandon sinful intentions completely. It reminds us that transformation begins not with actions alone, but with the thoughts we entertain. When negative intentions are dropped, half the inner battle is already won. The second line emphasizes holding firmly to truthful resolve. Truth here is not only about honesty in speech, but about living with integrity, clarity, and alignment between thought, word, and action. A mind anchored in truth gains strength and stability. The third line warns against indulging in excessive imagination about sensory pleasures. Constant mental fantasizing fuels desire, attachment, and restlessness. The final line delivers a sharp insight. All inner distortions eventually manifest as outward disturbances. The key takeaway is purify intention, hold truth firmly, restrain imagination, and inner clarity will naturally express itself as outer harmony. A disciplined mind creates a disciplined life.